Aquaman, come in.
Holy static, Batman. Aquaman doesn't answer.
Hold on, Robin. We're going down after it.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days. The weekend comes, my cycle hums, ready to race to you. These days are mine.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? LeeKirbyDitkoComics here. Today, I have a special old funny book to share. Just unboxed this Grail. Here is More Fun Comics number 73, published November 1941 by DC Comics. This issue would have been for sale on the newsstands the last week of September 1941, making this comic almost 80 years old. Wow. A couple months after this came out, a classic horror film was released in theaters, one of my favorite Universal monsters, the Wolfman. What a fun year. So getting more into this monumental key, More Fun was National's, later DC Comics' first ever publication back in 1935. This series was initially titled New Fun and was the very first comic book series to feature all original material rather than reprints of newspaper comic strips. This anthology series would introduce several major superhero characters. Which brings us to this issue. What makes this book one of the most important and most underrated comics of all time? Well, don't let this Dr. Fate cover fool you. Even though it's actually a pretty neat little action scene, the cover still does not do this book justice for what is hidden inside these pages. This comic book features not one, not two, but three mainstream characters' first appearances. Inside are stories containing the origin and first appearance of Aquaman, along with the first appearance of Green Arrow and his trusty sidekick Speedy. That's what puts this issue among the top comics in the hobby. To make matters more dramatic, this is not an easy book to find. It's harder to track down than Action 1, tougher than Detective 27, just not many left in existence, so therefore I am truly grateful to be able to obtain this old funny book. Now, in 1941 when this came out, DC Comics had already established a strong gallery of superheroes debuting throughout the previous years, starting with Superman in 1938, and adding more until they eventually built up enough heroes that they started the first ever team, coming out a year prior to this one in 1940 with the Justice Society of America. So this issue of More Fun would actually feature one of the later key first appearances of such important characters to come out during the golden age of comics. Unfortunately, this cover does not showcase Aquaman, Green Arrow, or Speedy, leading this book to be often overlooked and simply underappreciated. Now, Green Arrow and Speedy would go on to replace Dr. Fate and the Spectre as the cover feature in the coming months. But as far as the King of the Seven Seas, well, he wasn't so lucky. One would think Aquaman being such a major pillar for DC Comics, he would become a frequent cover art attraction. And you'd think he'd even quickly be granted his own title for his own adventures. But alas, poor Aquaman was not going to be as fortunate as, say, Wonder Woman, who wasn't on the cover of her first appearance either. But she was quickly given cover appearances in Sensation, and even got her own title just months later. But nope, not Aquaman. He would never so much as make not one cover appearance in the entire Golden Age. Blasphemous. A founding member of the Super Friends? Come on. Oh well. Don't worry, Aquaman. You'll always be appreciated as a top hero. Aquaman's last appearance in More Fun was in issue 106 before being moved along with Green Arrow and Speedy to Adventure Comics starting with issue 103 in 1946, where Aquaman would still remain a hidden feature. He just couldn't catch a break. Aquaman's adventures continued to be published in Adventure Comics through the 1940s and 50s as one of the few heroes to last through the 1950s in continuous publication because, you know, he was just too awesome to cancel. Now, years later, I guess DC felt bad about keeping Aquaman a secret for so long that DC would finally feature Aquaman on covers left and right in the Silver Age, breaking through with Showcase and even his own title, At Long Last. He would also become a starter in the Justice League of America, so he would eventually get recognition. As for Green Arrow and Speedy, they would go on to be co-featured in Green Lantern in the later issues, and Speedy was featured in the Teen Titans. So yeah, all in all, More Fun 73 is likely the most underrated Golden Age book out there. So let's give Aquaman, Green Arrow, and Speedy some love. So thankful for this addition to the collection. And with that, is going to wrap up this video, guys. Make sure to smash that like button down below if you love comics. Comment your favorite Aquaman comic down below. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button to see more comic book videos. I'm LeeKirbyDitkoComics. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.
Holy mackerel! Aquaman sending his fish friends to attack us!
Quick, Robin, our bat diverters!
Quit thinking, Batman!